All right, let's move on to a scouting report here. Beau Stephens, guard out of Iowa. I'm really excited about this guy, Jacob. I don't know how you feel about him, if you've had a chance to check him out yet or not. He's a guy that we haven't talked about much. He's down at the Senior Bowl, if I remember correctly, and we'll get into all the details here. Tell me that guy right there ain't a mauler. Look at this thing. You think he's ever been to a Denny's? You think he's ever been to a Culver's? Look at this cat.
Yeah.
All right, here's what we got. So we got scouting report, Beau Stephens, guard out of Iowa. After a stellar senior season where he was a consensus first-team All-American, Stephens has exhausted his eligibility and is currently one of the top interior offensive line prospects at the 2026 Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. All right, scouting report on him. Obviously, he's a guard, award number 70 for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Senior, 6'5", 315 pounds is what most listings had him at. Here is the biographical overview. A native of Blue Springs, Missouri, Stephens represents the classic Iowa developmental success story. After redshirting in 21 and battling injuries early in his career, he became the anchor of a Hawkeye offensive line that won the Joe Moore Award, which is basically the nation's best offensive line unit, in 2025. He was PFF's highest graded power conference guard this past season, allowing 0 sacks and only 1 pressure over 201 pass blocking snaps, through the first half of the year. His physical profile and athleticism, 6'5", 315 pounds, as he's listed as a massive interior presence. Stephens has prototypical NFL guard size. He notably dropped weight and reshaped his body before his senior year, which significantly improved his lateral agility. Brawling mentality. He plays with the nasty streak. Jacob, how many times have we said we wanted that this year, bro? He plays 100%. With the nasty streak expected from a Kirk Ferentz coached lineman. Hopefully I said that name right. Ferentz, I think is how you say it, actually. He is a high-effort blocker who consistently looks to finish defenders into the turf. I wonder if he's finishing like Rasheed Walker or finishing just normal blocking there, Jacob. You think he finishes on the ground like Rasheed?
Well, I know he finishes his plates, but I don't know about the blocks the same way. So,
functional mobility. He is adept at getting on the move, showing the hip fluidity to pull on power schemes and the speed to reach linebackers at the second level on zone runs, i.e. duo, right? What do you think so far before we get into the technical skills, Jacob? This sounds like a guy you might want.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime you say offensive lineman and you say Iowa, I'm immediately excited. I'm not sure if you will cover this, but it does sound like, too, that he's been a guy that is versatile. Just for a quick little search, it said he started 12 games at left guard in 2024, earning the team's comeback player of the year after missing most of 23 with an injury. He also started 10 games at right guard in 2022 as a redshirt freshman. So not only has he got early experience, he's already dealt with adversity. He's able to move around the line in multiple positions. He's a big, giant guy that's a mauler. This, to me, sounds like it's a match made in heaven.
Absolutely. Areas for improvement. Let's talk about some of the stuff. Actually, we got technical skills first, and we'll get to the areas of improvement. Elite pass protection. His 2025 metrics were historic for a guard. He possesses a powerful punch and a wide, stable base that makes him incredibly difficult to bull rush. Leverage king. Despite his height, he sinks his hips well to maintain a low center of gravity, allowing him to anchor against massive interior defensive tackles. Combination blocker. He's excellent at passing off stunts and twists. He and Iowa center Logan Jones, we already done his video if you guys want to go check it out, formed one of the most cohesive interior duos in recent Big Ten history. So you got a guy, again, elite pass protection, leverage king, combination blocker, some of the tendencies he has, some of the positives, if you will. Areas for improvement, oversetting. During the Senior Bowl practices, he was occasionally caught oversetting to the outside, leaving the A-gap vulnerable to quick interior counters. Hand placement. When he gets fatigued, his hands tend to widen, which can lead to holding penalties against NFL-level speed rushers who can, quote, dip under his reach. Injury consistency. While he stayed healthy for his final year, scouts will want to ensure the leg issues that plagued his middle seasons are fully behind him. And in terms of draft projection, all right, he is draft range is going to be early to mid day 2, so roughly a 2nd to 3rd round pick. That's right in our wheelhouse, right, for our first pick. His All-American pedigree and elite pass blocking grades make him a plug-and-play candidate for an NFL starting guard spot right now. Pro comparison, Kevin Zeitler or, listen to this, Joe Thuney. How about that?
Hey.
2025 stats, 13 starts at left guard, 0 sacks allowed, first-team All-American, first-team All-Big Ten. And in terms of injury history, Jacob, 2023 season, he suffered a season-ending leg injury against Northwestern that limited him to just 5 games. He underwent surgery and spent the following spring in rehabilitation. October of 24, he missed a game against Michigan State due to a lingering ankle injury sustained the prior week. All right. November 2025, dealt with a soft tissue, lingering tissue injury during the latter half of the season. It limited his snaps against Minnesota, only 15 plays, though Coach Kirk Ferentz, God, I always want to say Ferentz, I think is how you say it, stated it was a management issue rather than a structural threat. Medical note, Stephens was a 2024 Comeback Player of the Year finalist, and his ability to start every game in 2025 has largely erased concerns about his long-term durability. And this is a guy, Jacob, that a little bit of injury history, he won't be red on our board because he was healthy the entire 2025 season. So what do you think, man?
Yeah. I like what a couple of these comments are saying. You got to be kidding me, saying Wisconsin used to be O-line U. Seems as if lately Iowa's taken that over. Kind of interesting there. Soder goes on to say that Tim Lester is the Iowa OC, and a lot of the Packer blocking concepts are used by Iowa. I think that's an interesting fit there. Where's the other one I would like to hear? J. Cole comes in and says, I've been saying that I want buttholes on the offensive line, to put it nicely.
Meaning, buttholes sounds worse than
it does sound. As I said it, I went, that's not better. But then Mike comes in and says, I don't know what Goody has against Iowa. It's obvious how well these guys are coached. I don't know if he's got something against them necessarily, but it is, it'd be nice.
We always have LVN, right?
That's right. We'll always have LVN. Yeah.
All right. In terms of our PTA big board, he is 77th currently. This is going to change. I think he's probably going to get a bonus. We'll see. But he's currently 77th on the PTA big board. Thank you for the super chat, Mike. We will hit that in just a second, buddy. So when you look at some of the other names on the board around him, I know I'm going to mess up Max's name. We'll just call him Max, offensive tackle out of Arizona State. I've seen the pronunciation for it. We're going to highlight his prospect report here real soon. He's having a heck of a Senior Bowl down there. He's in the 72nd spot at tackle position. However, again, you've got Beau Stephens coming in here at 77 with a 65 grade. So even though he's 77th on the board, you can make a case for him being as high as the 65th pick. Right. So when you pick at 52 would be a little bit of a reach, but maybe that would be a, trade back, grab Beau Stephens, pick up a couple picks type thing. We'll see how it goes. Now, in terms of interior offensive line, all right, this is where he ranks. He's the 5th ranked interior offensive line on our PTA big board. You've got Lone, offensive lineman out of Memphis in the 1 spot. You've got Prignon, guard out of Oregon in the 2 spot. He's down at the Senior Bowl as well, to the best of my knowledge. Jake Slaughter, who's specifically a center. They've been cross-training him down there at guard as well to see if he can do it. Out of Florida, he's our top center prospect, so he's number 3. Connor Liu is technically number 4, but it's looking like he won't be back till maybe October-ish because of the ACL, so that's why he's red on our board. And then you have Beau Stephens. So if you remove Connor Liu, Beau Stephens is the 4th graded guard on the list here. Now, you guys know we're real big on Keelan Rutledge, right? Guard out of Georgia Tech. He's 122nd on the big board. We've actually got him much higher than that and worthy of somewhere around the 72nd pick. So you've got a couple of guys that are really starting to pop here, right? Really 3 guys in my opinion. Jake Slaughter, Beau Stephens, Keelan Rutledge, and then after that, Logan Jones, Pat Coogan. So those are some names to really keep an eye on in terms of interior offensive line. I'm going to show this one time and one time only real quick. This is a rep that Beau Stephens had at the Senior Bowl. Here we go. Look at this, Jacob. Get on the ground, little boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a grown-ass man he threw around like that, too. So, again, now was it a hold? Possibly. He did grab the jersey, pull it down. But, hey, look, who's throwing flags out there?
They don't throw flags no more.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, final thoughts on our boy Beau Stephens. Jacob, how are we feeling about it, man?
Yeah, fits the part. I think that, personally, I think that our board has been shown to be – I say ours. I mean, yours and Emilio's pretty much, but the way that we've kind of implemented different metrics and everything, it is really interesting, especially this time of year, to compare it against other consensus big boards or whatever the case may be. So for instance, I'm looking at a Bleacher Report article about him where they've got him as maybe a 6.6 grade in their eyes, which means a role player, a part-time contributor, probably taken in the 4th round. He has comparables to Zach Zinter, Jared Hawker, Andrew Voorhees, and then Sean Ryan. They have his overall rank at 145 and his inside lineman position rank at the 12th highest. So I think we definitely see him as a little bit higher draft stock than maybe they do. But like I said, it's really fun to mix and match, try different articles, different sites that you trust. This is, again, the type of year where everything is going to be kind of up in the air, but it's really nice to see how the dust settles and where they end up being.
Yeah, and this board is going to change, guys. Understand, there's going to be a lot of shuffling that takes place. We're in the early stages here, but you've already got all the PFF grades in from 23, 24, and 25. You got the 25 PFF big board if it applies. Now, it's worth mentioning, for whatever reasons, the PFF did not have Beau Stephens on their big board, okay? So when he does get added, we will put that number in, but we got to wait for them to add. He was 126 on the consensus big board, and he seems to be helping his stock at the Senior Bowl. Again, we'll get all the Senior Bowl bonuses in. That'll shuffle these guys around a little bit as well. Mike Z with the super chat. Appreciate you, Mike. He said, I don't know what Goot has against Iowa. These guys for years have elite coaching and elite grades, at least 3 players on this year's board. Man, their offensive line is really, really impressive this year. Now, again, I don't think he necessarily has anything against them. And the reason I say that is because he drafted LVN at 13. Some people think he reached on LVN. There's some Packer fans that think that was a bad pick, right? So if he had anything against Iowa, Mike, I don't think he would have taken him. Now, the Cooper DeJean argument, I know there's a lot of people that wanted Cooper DeJean. I get it. He's a great football player, right? I always compare Cooper DeJean to Edgerrin Cooper, and they hate that because they say, well, you should have took Cooper DeJean with the first-round pick. Well, he wasn't taken in the first round. So which tells me there was no other teams that had a first-round grade on Cooper DeJean. They had a second-round grade. So technically it would have been a reach to take him with the first-rounder, right? And I will say this, if Jordan Morgan pops this year playing left tackle, if Rasheed Walker walks in free agency, no pun intended, if that happens, then everybody's going to shut up about the whole Cooper DeJean pick, right? It'll be Jordan Morgan is a franchise left tackle, if indeed he plays the way we think he's capable of playing at the left tackle spot. But I understand what you're saying, Mike. I wish they would take more Iowa players because it's obvious when they get to the league, they play pretty damn good football. Appreciate the super chat, man. All right, we got another comment here from Coach Zay over on X. Good to see you, Coach. Appreciate you swinging through. Question for you, Clayton. Put your GM hat on, and if you have a great 3-tech or a great left tackle on the board, what are you picking? Boy, I know that's easy for me, Coach. If we get to the draft at 52 and we've got the only 2 players that are in the top tier of talent, right? And this probably won't happen. You'll have some other guys fall because everybody's board's a little bit different. But if you get to pick 52 this year and you've got a 3-tech and you've got a left tackle, both with the same exact grade, I am taking the 3-tech. I'm putting Jordan Morgan at left tackle, right? I don't like the idea of drafting a tackle again and kicking him to guard, drafting a tackle, kicking him to guard, drafting. It just drives me insane, right? And then you draft the center, play him at guard, and at the end of his career, you move him back to center. It's like there's just too much shuffling going on there for me. But, yeah, I'm taking the 3-tech. And the reason being is Devontae Wyatt, 5th-year option, hasn't been extended yet, right? So we got him for $12 million fully guaranteed this year. He's 28 years old. Are they really going to give him a 4-year deal? You know what I mean? So if you've got a dominant 3-tech sitting there at 52, don't get me wrong, it's going to be very, very hard pressed to find a dominant rookie 3-tech falling to 52. But if you find a gem there, and just theoretically speaking, you get that 3-tech there, Jordan Morgan pops at left tackle, you draft maybe with your 3rd-round pick one of these interior offensive linemen we're talking about that could potentially fall, like a Logan Jones or even a Pat Coogan or a Keelan Rutledge or whatever. Now you've got your 3-tech of the future. You can move on from Devontae Wyatt or maybe just give him a little patch-it deal or what have you because he'll be 29 years old with injury history. And now you get your 3-tech of the future. Here's the other thing, Coach. In my opinion, I could be wrong. The very next year, guess what you do? You try to get another 3-tech because you can't have too many of those guys, man. It's just like edge defenders, right? Pass rushers. So I appreciate the question, Coach. Thank you for swinging through, man. You got anything to add to that, what Coach just said, Jacob, or anything else at all?
No, I would agree with that too. Especially with the amount of draft capital we have put into that offensive line that hasn't quite came to fruition. And I would argue because I don't think we've given them the right opportunities. We've talked so many times about Jordan Morgan playing on the left side, playing at the tackle position. And then, like you said, it feels like we've had a bigger need as of late. I mean, don't get me wrong, offensive line was a massive need. Obviously, I think more due to injury and just people not performing quite the way that we did. But, going forward, I want to have that big, dominant, absolute, just game-crushing 3-tech that you look at the teams like we've talked about over the years. I think you can get by with a patched offensive line. It just doesn't seem like that you get too far into the playoffs unless that defensive line is really kicking.
Yeah, you've got to be good up front on both sides, man. It's just so tough, you know.
Yeah.
And again, like they say, everybody thinks they have a 3-tech, and very few teams have a true dominant 3-tech. But if you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments. How do you feel about Beau Stephens? Would you be willing to take him with the 52nd pick? Would you wait until your 3rd round pick, or maybe even the 4th round pick? Maybe we're way too high on him. You don't see him as that good of a prospect. Maybe there's another prospect you like more. Let us know in the comments. Make sure you hit like, subscribe, click the bell icon so you're notified when we go live in the future.